why George isn't working that left jab. He's allowing Qawi to take liberties.
Qawi, who is thick around the middle, make no question about that, able to pretty much walk in.
I don't understand Foreman's strategy at all, Al. He should be keeping this little guy away from him. Just keep snapping that great jab that he has in his face.
There it is. And of course, the uppercut you would expect to see from Qawi. Well, I did the fight in which Guido Trani, who was knocked out by Foreman, fought him, and Trani, who is nowhere near what Qawi is, was able to bounce lefts and rights off the head of Foreman. So
George has to keep it out there with that left jab. If he starts to stay inside, he can get himself in a lot of trouble.
The jab and the uppercut, his two most important weapons. He just missed with them there.
You know, you mentioned the fact that Qawi is thick around the middle. Actually, he's got no body to hit.
That's true.
His trunks are up around his chest.
Almost anything Foreman throws to the body will be a low blow.
George is allowing Qawi to take too many liberties.
Qawi can hit him with the overhand right, it looks like, just about any time.
I don't think he doesn't come in behind the other guy's jab.
Dwight Qawi having himself by Foreman.
He landed two good body shots, Al.
Well, this fight starting as Qawi would like it to. It's not the same very busy Qawi that we saw as a cruiserweight and a light heavyweight, but he's landing. There's the right and the left by Foreman. Hey, guess what? It didn't knock Qawi down. It hasn't been a glittering group that he's beaten. But he's won them all. And won them all by knockout.
The thing with George Foreman,
for Qawi, the left hook lands, and if he keeps getting hit with those punches, he's going to have a problem.
George is trying to time him, and just a little bit of head motion that Qawi is giving him is throwing Foreman all off. He's just got to let his punches go.
And the right hands that were bouncing off Foreman's head in round one are not there now. A much slower Dwight Muhammad Qawi, but it's a pretty slow Foreman as well. There's the jab by Foreman.
That's what he should be using. Good left hook by Qawi, and another good left hook. Foreman pushes him off on a right hand and another right hand.
George Foreman felt those punches. He is getting nailed with some big shots now by Qawi. And Qawi with the jab that lands.
And Qawi is talking to him.
Qawi was hurt earlier, and now he's back against the ropes. The old ex-champ trying to recapture that glory. Looking across at what looks like kind of a tired Dwight Muhammad Qawi, but a Qawi that's landed some big shots in the first couple of rounds. Qawi, the former light heavyweight and cruiserweight champion, gets another right hand home.
That's because George is not using that jab. What they should be telling him to do is jab at Qawi's chest. He's not going to miss him if he hits him on the chest, and he's going to knock him off balance where he can throw a couple of combinations.
And there's the jab that you talked about.
Well, he just pushed it though, Al. He's got to snap that jab.
Right hand by Qawi, and that woke up the crowd and woke up Foreman a little, but he doesn't back up. He keeps coming. Throws a bizarre right hand to the back of. Oh, there goes. Something hurt Qawi to the back of the head.
Looked to me like it got hit in the back on the kidneys, Al.
Now, is that a knockdown or not? I guess not.
I guess whatever it was.
Boy, it was very tough to see what that was. Something hurt him.
Well, Foreman just nailed him with a pretty good right hand.
You may be right, Gil. It was something to the kidneys that drove him out of the ring. He was holding the back of his head.
He gave us some kind of now Qawi is landing some pretty good short punches himself.
Uppercut hurt Qawi, but we've said that before, and he seems to come back. Foreman under the microscope, to be sure. People looking at what he has and what he doesn't have. Qawi in a bad spot for him in that corner. Lands some rights.
That left hook was a go-home left hook, but it missed.
Under a minute left to go in round three. In a round in which both men have landed big shots just like the second round.
doesn't seem to have any snap in his punches at all, Al. They're so ponderous. They're pushing punches.
And that's probably why Kawi's still standing, because he's landed some big shots. There it is again, the right hand.
He's not using that left jab at all, Al.
Not even a little bit.
Wouldn't you think that from the other fights he knew that was his best punch? That's what
gives Foreman a warning for backhanded.
Well, it was a backhand.
Now, this has really slowed him.
Roughness.
Kawi not much on his punches right now. In fact, nobody's really punching. They're just kind
The
of
funny thing is, Kawi's strategy says if he can get George into the later rounds, George would be tough. He's able to hold George off with one hand and throw that right hand with the other hand. Foreman better start punching.
There's the jab. Uppercut by Kawi. And so what has been landed in this round, he just walked away there.
Well, we mentioned before the fight that George is so big and strong. If he starts doing this pushing, it's going to make it look ridiculous. Hey, now George has got that left hand where he can nail it. He's throw it.
Kawi missing with the hook. He's putting himself in punching range for Kawi. I guess he's clowning, I don't know, but getting hit with an occasional jab. This is not the same George Foreman 10 years ago. George is having a pretty good fifth round, however, from a scoring standpoint. Jabs by Kawi.
When Kawi leans over like that, what George should be just feint that jab and hook to the body, hit him with two body punches, and maybe he could get him out of there, but he's not doing that.
There's very little body work by Foreman, but as you pointed out, there's not much of a target there.
They're all arm punches. No, his hips don't move at all when he throws a punch, George.
The jab by Foreman. And so Dwight Muhammad Kawi explodes a bit here in the fifth round. Foreman with his own uppercut, and things heat up. Span, of course, the only two men he lost to, Muhammad Ali and Zaire African, and a decade ago, losing to the fancy boxing Jimmy Young.